Hello and welcome to this Level 1 Legendary Survival Glitchless run of Skyrim. In this part, we just pretty much finished joining the companions, and at this point we are looking to do the first major quest of it, which involves murdering everything in Dustman's Cone. This will involve probably most of the punishing for the rest of the run, after which point we should be a werewolf, and therefore won't have to rely on quite such painful methods of dealing damage. So it should be both the majority of the punching and the last of the punching. So, let's see how this goes. Hopefully less painful than last session's punching. So we will have Farkas with us. Probably some pretty heavy reliance on him as well, because as is generally the theme, when we don't have the option of leaving the follower behind, we will make the most use of them, which will largely be using him as a tank, since life is much easier when you don't need to worry about trying to dodge back between punches, and you can just slap things from the side while they wail on your heavily armoured companion. Does not sound healthy. So yes, the rough plan is go in and kill everything, try not to die. That's the important part. Oh, fun. Some nice, beautiful, slightly glitchy water. Yes, go in, murder everything, loot fewer things. Once this quest is done, we need to do one more Radiant quest, and then we can get turned into a werewolf, and everything goes from being completely underpowered to completely overpowered. And a flying, not just a flying bow, but a bow which is slowly sailing into the sky. Majestic. And there I was worrying there wouldn't be any entertaining bugs this time. I remain, I guess, quietly impressed by how playable I found Skyrim, despite how horribly broken it obviously is. I've known people who were a bit less fortunate. A friend of mine picked up the game and couldn't actually get out of Helgen because when they dropped the bridge after the group fight room, it catapulted the companion through the wall and out of the world. And they just couldn't find, well, I forget if they couldn't progress from there or if they just put it down because it was so obviously broken.
We should keep moving. Alright then.
If you say so, Farkas. I wonder if this is related to the fact I haven't been tabbed out for a while. In any case. Right. Let's do this.
Looks like someone's been digging here, and recently.
I need to not
Tread
pick up bugs, because that would be, well, I suppose that would just be load the last save, but it would be a particularly embarrassing way to invalidate things. Okay, so in future I need to make sure I'm tapped in through the entire starting process, I suspect, just in case that's the factor. The factor just in case that's a factor or the cause. None of you. So this is already going substantially better than getting killed repeatedly by 2 skeletons, which is a massive thing. Okay, so far so good. I'm not going to loot all of these, but but a little bit of gold will help. So last session I think I mentioned something about needing gold for the odd quest in runes and all that sort of thing. What I completely forgot about is that we're also going to need a moderate amount of gold, because it costs 500 gold a time to travel to Volkihar, I can remember what the word is, the vampire castle from the DLC, and we're going to want to go there a few times. So it's good to not have to run, but that does cost 500 gold a time. Well worth it. Right, step 1. Activating the weapon and get ourselves trapped. Over here. Grab some nice things.
Now look what you've gotten yourself into. No
And now I
worries,
shall
just sit tight.
sit back and
I'll
enjoy the
find a
compelling cutscene.
What was that?
I'll be delighted.
It's time to die, dog. We knew you'd be coming. Your mistake, companion.
Which one is that?
Doesn't matter. He wears that armor, he dies.
Killing you will make for an excellent story.
None of you will be alive to tell it.
Never should have come here.
Right, so the main useful thing these guys have, apart from a bit of cash, is that they will often have cure disease potions.
I hope I didn't scare you.
Don't care if I
We should keep moving.
So they'll often have cure disease potions,
Let's
which will become useless once we become a werewolf, but until then, disease is a major pain in survival mode. Yeah, let's keep it on. And not a single one of them had one. That's really uncommon. Anyway, yes, diseases. Pain in survival mode, because the main way to get rid of them would be to either have the potion, or the easy way is actually you can just eat a hawk feather, because its first effect is cure disease. Obviously that's not viable for this run, because that will give you alchemy XP. But that would be a general go-to. The alternative is to use a shrine, which costs, I forget if it's 100 or 500 in this mode, which again, gold is going to be fairly scarce, so let's not waste money quite that blatantly. Flawless amethyst I don't think useful, so let's just do quite literal pictures. That was a little bit weird, but let's face it, not the most jarring graphical bug we've had today. I shall keep on searching them to get a second cure disease potion, and then I think that'll be it. Because beyond that point we don't really need any more. The gold is nice, but it's not really essential, and the amounts we get per body are fairly low. I should have discovered this chest. I'm going to choose to assume I've forgotten it, because I've probably searched that spot before. Bit of catch behind. Last level chest, let's not want to find it, however. Let's so vampire dust is useful for the is it pay righty? The quest to get the best shield in the game. However, while we can technically use a shield and still have a valid level 1 run, it feels a bit cheesy, so we won't. Also, yeah, while using a shield is in itself valid, it's very easy to just reflexively right-click to block, gain XP, and then have to reload, and that doesn't sound like a particularly enjoyable dynamic. Let's just run away and see if any of these people are going to wake up. There's one of them attacking the bandits and still focus, but one thing is, none of them matter. Because focus will get back up when he goes down. Does get up, so very little health, and it takes a while. Sad. Do what we gotta do. In this case, that involves keeping them facing small focus attacks, which was kind of the opposite of what I expected, but whatever works. So, I forget whether this applies to quick saving vanilla, but in the Enhanced Edition, one of the things they added was a fairly long fade-in every time you went to an area. And as I say, it may or may not apply to quick loads. I forget how that is between the two games. That was I think I was turning as I saved, so I don't. Yes. The downside of this, the fade-in isn't really much a feature, it's more to cover up the horrible log you get. But the downside from a gameplay perspective is that if you save at a bad time, as in when you're about to get hit, for example, obviously that's a bad idea in games anyway. It's very easy to get a quick save in a situation that you can't escape. In Skyrim Special Edition in particular, however, it means that you can save in what's a perfectly safe position, but by the time the fade-in finishes, it's no longer a safe position. So you can, in fact, get yourself into a corner more easily than you would typically expect. I think this is a good time for a little bit of food, because we could use, I believe, both a bit of hunger and a bit of health, making this a particularly good time to do so. Right, that's as well fed, and hopefully more than one hit from death. If we get one shot killed again, then obviously that means some adjustments. Oh, that's... I think these aren't even less extraordinary, but okay, a bit more food. Potion, I suppose. I think we have a few of those. Yeah, we found a couple. So far so good. So, one of the larger benefits of... Oh wow, he heals pretty quickly. One of the larger benefits of the Lady Stone is that by the next fight we'll probably have full health, and even if we find ourselves on particularly low health, we can just wait. And since a lot of our healing items are food, it means that you don't even have the downside of waiting consuming food. or at least you have it less pronounced.
What was that?
Go, Farkas, go! Wait. Save. Ah, boy, Marcus. Still looking for that second cure disease potion. If we have found one, then Hawk Feathers would be perfect, but again, in this case, they will give us alchemy XP. Which, while ordinarily I adore, I tend to probably overuse alchemy, because A, it's free gold and also massive amounts of power.
Over here.
Oh. No. What is the trap around here? It's an option. There's a swinging rifle or something, that probably would have been more useful for dealing with the bandits. Well, the Silver Hand, who are definitely not bandits. Something, like it's called. Something, I'm sure. Oh wow, that did quite a lot of damage. Right, this seems like a good time to just make use of the Lady Stone. That'll do it. Don't want to waste waiting time too much, because after all we are still technically limited on food, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be using food for healing by the end of this dungeon anyway. And I was going to stop looting these guys, because we already have potions. I may be a slightly forgetful person. So I'm pretty sure he was just leaning against the wall, but I'm sure that he was in the Trollger hands on shoulders position. May need to check the footage after this and just to see how much I was seeing things. Don't need to loot it. That's at 50 gold is probably actually a pretty reasonable amount to be looting bodies for. Yeah, actually, I'm just going to loot these guys. They have enough gold that it's probably justified. I'm not going to food. You're not getting out of here for that easy free. These guys aren't fine. So I feel like the Silver Hand is this one. Oh, there's a fair few draw there, so maybe not. It's been a while since I did this quest, so I don't actually recall which side tends to come out with the advantage in this section. I suppose we may as well just see Princess Farkas and how he's done.
That's your best time.
Alright, so far so good.
You're making me angry.
Okay, yeah, Silver Hand were indeed the larger threat here. Oh, what side? Draw accepted the player. Farkas, you are okay with that? so the Silverhand had the upper hand, and then Farkas decided to run through the entire dungeon away from all the Draugr. At this point, I think the Silverhand are almost an ally, or not for their absolute devotion to attacking us in the face of the undead. Okay. The only game is like exactly good. Oh, great.
You won't live to see tomorrow.
So we will in fact fight pretty much all the Silverhand and pretty much all of the Draugr. I hope I quick saved recently. Oh dear. So apologies for that. That was not so exciting. So hopefully we can go a few of the Draugr this time. Level-1 goes along. So I don't think Draugr gets these sync kills. So we should definitely prioritise killing the Silverhand in an otherwise even fight. Because that mechanic of dying when they look at you funny is not my favourite thing to experience in combat. I can understand, you know, why it exists, it's just one result. I find scales poorly with difficulty. Right, I don't think there's anything of interest in this room, but I've already demonstrated that my memory is not amazing, so it's worth doing a quick check. Skeever in the perfectly natural position you'd expect to see it in nature. And no, I'm not actually criticising the monster placement in Skyrim. I don't expect that level of simulation from it. Hopefully I didn't contract anything. I probably should check for diseases at the start of the session. Mitigating the costs of survival. Save me, Farkas. It's a vacuum slap. I was thinking they're worth looting because they have a decent amount of gold, but that loot tends to be in the form of gems, which is less than useful in this case. Now for time honored tradition, I'll start in the tutorial, get the spiders to protect the escort, and then hit them with the light. Spiders are kind of interesting to me because they're suitably impressive and gribbly, but they don't trigger arachnophobia, or at least I don't find they trigger any kind of arachnophobia. The larger just arachnophobe, but I'm certainly not a fan of spiders that big. But these ones just don't get that response from me. Which I suspect is deliberate, and I appreciate it. Not my strongest start to combat. I'm pretty sure our archer is targeting me. Also broke, so I need to use them. Just the silver hand, I think. They at least carry a decent amount of cash. And let's get a little bit of food as vegetable soup. I'm pretty sure the health regen on vegetable soup is broken, unless you're running the official patch, but the stamina is still useful. And the hunger is still useful. Right, and here's where things are going to get particularly protracted and painful. I suspect anyone who's done the Companion's questline remembers this section, and it will be a little bit quick loading. That would be so nice, but I don't have a companion to give it to, so let's not waste that in casting. And some Germans may not find them useful. Let's do this. Step 1, okay, focus. Steps 2 onwards, I'm mostly finding focus. But yeah, keep an eye on where everyone is, so they don't get me up and murder me. I'm not sure what it is about this room, but I often see them running down towards that exit, so I'm not sure whether that's them fleeing combat and just not realising the door is closed, or whether they think that they need to move around to flank. I suspect it's fleeing combat from what I remember. I can't be confident in that. Sure, call how many waves there are. Once he starts running down, this whole thing gets a lot slower. Or at the very least, gets a lot slower. If we continue with my passage pending, running around trying not to die. I think I have tombtoken, so that's probably 5. Just manage these being far so good. I don't think we have to use any healing items. If you're wondering why I'm using light attacks here, the reason is quite simply I find it very difficult to aim with two-handed combo, so it always being locked in place, which is a bit of a vulnerable position with no armor. And on top of that, the single power attack, which is far less dangerous and easier to aim, I'm pretty sure is lower defense than using spam light attacks. So spam light attacks comes out as the one for a decent amount of damage and a non-terrible amount of survivability. Where they are. They do struggle with that in this area. And I will really exploit that fact. Oh, exploiting that will take advantage when it comes up, actually. Let's try and find a safe spot to stand on to get them all running into a wall or something. That would be a step too far. Keys to away from the fires. Find to him. To the damage. That's the opposite of what I had planned.
That's your bet. Seems to be doing pretty good things with Fox's ops. And I may learn the hitbox of the punch attacks today as apparently not that I have. That said, there's really no need to learn them because this should be the last session where punching is our main means of damage. After this, we'll have werewolf claws, which are substantially easier to aim, and also, you know, substantially more powerful. It's a good combination, I really. God damn it. Thought I could slip down his hitbox. Could not. Please let this not be death. Okay, that was one of those times when the fade-in was enough to make the difference between life and death. On the plus side, it looked like the AI was still random at that point. Rather than being like a swing or something. Well, that's all the potions. Plus side there's still healing food, but it still doesn't load massively. I think we're on the rather later road at this point there. So let's give Franks a chance to engage at least one of them. Split this off into a 1v1. And 2. Which way around doesn't particularly matter. I'll take this round. Stand arms. Much prefer games that give you a second quick save slot. It makes it much harder to get yourself locked into a lethal position. I'd say that's a more modern invention, but that's what I remember from the original Half-Life game, and it's possible that I'm wrong, but I'm pretty certain this game came out after Half-Life 1. Oh, this looks promising.
Okay, so assuming this is a 1 hour recording, which is the recording slash stream, which is what I aim for, that gives us 25 minutes to do a Radiant quest, get lycanthropy, and then go and enjoy lycanthropy. Because frankly, after that fight slash farce, I think we deserve a treat, and I think tearing through a Silverhand fortress in werewolf form is a suitable treat. Right, is he still with me? I don't see him.
We need to get back to your Vasker.
Okay, so I can't tell him to
Until
move
next
now.
time.
That's fine. It doesn't particularly make a difference when travelling. So, I should probably clarify. The reason I make a point of sending... Is that actually pointing to the right place? Okay, more or less is. Wow. Okay. Definitely need to be careful about not tabbing during loading screens. Assuming that's the cause. It seems most likely. So the reason I'm being quite careful about telling any kind of follower to meet me at the location if I have the option is because it's very easy otherwise to just find excuses to use them for other things. For example, at this point, we could just take Farkas on a tour of all the low-level quests and watch him murder hag ravens and dragons for us. Which, while extremely effective and one that I've used in probably a few casual playthroughs, it's kind of trivializing any of the difficulty of this one. Granted, the most difficult part of this one for a while is now behind us. I think that fight was kind of the... I can't think of what I'm looking for. I guess the trial by fire. Now that that's done, we get more powerful. The quests don't get as much more difficult as we get more powerful until at least the point we start doing the DLC quests. Which will probably be another few hours of gameplay. As my current expectation is that we'll get the Companions questline finished before we pick up the Dawnguard questline, as the alternative totems are extremely powerful, and the first Dawnguard quest is another one of those hardest quests for a while, as it's the last quest before you get Vampire Lord form, assuming you side with the vampires. Which, without spoiling too much for those who haven't played the DLC, we're absolutely siding with the side that gives us another shapeshift. But first things first, let's focus on getting this first shapeshift. This will probably be our second usage of save scumming, as I think I'm going to try and get a quest from Ayala. And if that's Kill a Troll, we are absolutely not taking that. For the same reasons as we wouldn't have taken the first quest, being obnoxiously hard. Because it would still, well, at this point it might be quicker to kill a troll than to restart the entire game, but it's not a sure thing. Right, now for another compelling cutscene. Enjoy.
Today we welcome a new soul into our mortal fold. This man has endured, has challenged, and has shown his valor. Who will speak for him?
I stand witness to the courage of the soul before us.
Would you raise your shield in his defense?
I would stand at his back, that the world might never overtake us.
And would you raise your sword in his honor?
It stands ready to meet the blood of his foes.
And would you raise a mug in his name?
I would lead the song of triumph as our mead hall reveled in his stories.
Then the judgment of this circle is complete. His heart beats with fury and courage that have united the companions since the days of the distant green summers. Let it beat with ours, that the mountains may echo and our enemies may tremble at the call.
It shall be so.
Well, boy, you're one of us now. I trust you won't disappoint.
Marvellous. Fully fledged member of the group.
You still
Technically
need to
remember the
prove
faction
yourself,
before that
Will.
quest, I believe, but
I've
Yes, sir.
heard you may actually... A citizen of Whiterun has asked for our help. It seems that a predator has invaded their home, and someone needs to clear the beast out. Be cautious. Beasts are not nearly as predictable as men. Give the thing a
Some
quick
nights I dream of misses of
Let's see. A wolf in Whiterun. Couldn't be much better. That said, that's Sven's house. I'm going to... going to try and not quick save until that's done, because I'm not actually certain whether we can get access to that without lockpicking. I think the quest will just unlock it for us, but I'm not certain of that,
Come on in.
and I don't
Just
really fancy
stoke
going
the
to have to get the
fire.
tower stone
Take a seat and get the cold out.
for the sake of that.
I enjoyed it. Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
And one thing we could always do is pull Uthgerd if we need a bit more cash. Yeah, 5 hours should do it.
Need
security
anything
in
else?
Whiterun
Just let
is
me know.
terrible.
And I believe there are now guards in Whiterun, which we probably think we still have a bit of glitch XP. Yeah, we still have a little bit of glitch sneak XP, which at least means we can get back here quickly after killing the wolf.
Maybe some other time I'll reveal your destiny.
Don't quick save, don't quick save, don't quick save. $1,000 gold. I think buying a horse is probably a worthwhile investment, to be honest. Save us a fair bit of time over the course of the run. Hopefully not die immediately. Horses in survival mode are terrible, because you can't fast travel as often, and that's, if you lose your horse, the first thing you do is fast travel somewhere to get it back. But if we could take a carriage, then it fast travels it to us, so as long as it doesn't
Man
die,
like you
we're fine.
needs a war. Suppose so. You've got a deal. It's the one with the saddle.
Choose a horse. There we go. Much quicker passage to Whiterun. There's somewhere we can climb. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, there's a lot of the hip cliff you can climb. Skyrim horses being famous for their ability to walk up vertical surfaces. Oh. Just quick saved. We knew it was going to happen sooner or later. Should have made a save before accepting the quest, other than a quick save, or immediately loaded on getting that one. So hopefully we can just walk into Sven's house. If not, I think I'll just take him on as a follower, get the key off him, and go in that way. Because while I dislike taking him on as a follower just for that, I think it makes more sense than going to get the tower stuff. Decide on it if it becomes a problem. I want to compromise my decisions before it's actually necessary. Apart from the save scanning one. That one I felt needed clarification because I went into this one fully expecting to save scunt and not get a troll. Hey, it does indeed open for the quest. That is a bit of a relief. By the time we fail in, it's only 10% of the health. It's fine. And because we befriended Sven earlier, we can loot his house anyway, so this actually works out reasonably well. I'm not going to scavenge for everything, because as mentioned previously, we have decent ability to get food and such at this point. Let's compare these to our clothes, purely for cosmetic reasons. But now that we have a horse, we'll actually be seeing third person mode, so that's actually a minor consideration rather than not a consideration at all. Black Briar Mead is no use. The only reason Lord Mead is use is in case we encounter the revelers. Right, that's this place looted enough for my liking, so let's put our fists away, take a look at our fancy selves, and decide how we want to be dressed. So, Rustbun tunic, I think we can get rid of that shortly. Fancy, fancy. Since we're not using any magic, I think we'll just go with a more mundane outfit. Let's put all this back. And now for a technique which is fairly popular in speedrunning, but one I normally don't use. Guard-based fast travel.
A fine day to you, friend. May you die with a sword in your hand.
And while I typically avoid it in this sort of playthrough because it feels a little bit weird, we need to do some jail time anyway to burn off some XP. So as soon as we can actually find... There we go. As soon as we can find a guard.
She'll make a fine wife someday.
I'll spare you for now.
Please, someone do something.
Did that not give me a bounty? That was weird.
You've been seen in the company of the
Maybe I
companions.
can kill a chicken.
honorable
That
path
might work. It's close to the dog. I need to absolutely not attack the dog. But... Aha! Okay, okay. Hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. This is not according to plan. You have guards now. I thought that would stop you trying to kill me. Maybe I can talk to them. Oh! Sheesh. Okay, you know, let's just, let's give this one more try, and then let's not.
I didn't think.
Is he seriously running away from a crime? You are a guard! What is wrong with you?
What is it? They say Ulfric Stormcloak murdered the High King with his voice.
Okay,
We're
I
a
guess
small
these
village,
guys
but we work
aren't
hard and take care of our
remotely professional guards. Or at least that one isn't. Well, at least we've got a bounty so we can chat to a different guard and get them to arrest us. Ah, that was good.
We're too friendly with strangers, but you seem alright.
Yeah, that should give us just enough time to possibly slightly overrun the planned hour, but there's no exactly hard cut off. It's just a reasonable amount of time to stream in one sitting without getting too fatigued, I find. But yeah, I was quite intent on getting at least a brief test of lycanthropy by the end of the session, and it looks like we still can despite some, let's go with confusion. Confusion, shenanigans, incompetent guards, however you prefer to think of it. What is that, a thief? Oh, looks like a thief. So somewhere around here should be a guard we can surrender to. If not, we can always walk up to the keep and do it there. So I think at this point the horse is vindicated. Mainly because, yeah, we didn't immediately enter combat and lose it, which I've had happen more than once. It feels pretty bad. So let's turn in this quest first, in case the companions have any weirdness about committing crimes while on a mission. I really hope that punching that guy doesn't forfeit the payment.
Wait, I know you.
Seems like the sort of thing that might happen though, yeah, companions being at least kind of honourable. I'd say at least kind of, I'm pretty sure it's a fairly big part of their ethos. Honourable not to be confused with pleasant, as evidenced by whatever his name is, the Dark Elf, and the Shield Maiden.
I've heard you may... Good work. A simple job, but it keeps the coin rolling in. Here's your still eager to plead. He has something special planned for you. Better
I've
talk
got a
to
bad
him.
grip on my shield.
Ah, there you are.
Yes. I have something a little different planned this time. But it's not for everyone to hear. We will speak more.
Until next time.
Right, let's get a quick night's sleep. And meet the slightly creepy old man after dark in a quiet place. I believe we still have the bed by this point,
Welcome. Let me know if you want anything.
so we can save ourselves
Think
10
I've got
whole
a coal
gold.
mug around here somewhere.
Right, I'm going to assume night is from 7 PM. I should probably get familiar with this because there's reasonable odds of gaining vampirism in this one, and being out in the sun as a vampire is less comfortable than otherwise.
I ain't done nothing.
On the plus side, it's not actually lethal, unlike previous games. I think both Morrowind and Oblivion just take constant damage for being in the sun.
They can barely tolerate our presence on Earth.
Nope, patient.
Are you prepared? This is no test, new blood. This is a gift. Come inside.
Yeah, for a little bit of blood ritual.
We do this in secret because Kodlak is too busy trying to throw away this great gift we've been granted.
This is one
He
of
thinks
those
we've
that
been cursed.
makes me question the
How
no
can something
leader
that gives
thing.
this kind of prowess be a curse?
They don't have a leader,
So
it's
we
just
take
they have
matters
a
into our
rigid
own
hierarchy
hands.
of the circle, and not the circle,
Reach the heights of
and
the
the other
companions.
members of the
Must
circle
join with us
are
in the
doing
shared blood
things
of
in
the wolf.
secret away from
Are you
Kodlak.
prepared to join your spirit with the beast world, friend?
Could just be that they don't want the drama, but
Very well.
it always seemed weird that the entire bowl just fills. So they could have just had it smoothly go on at least. No. That's not murder that dude.
I'm getting
I believe that ends when you either run out of time, get to the edge of Whiterun, or die. And luckily, that doesn't count as our transformation for the day.
Yours was not an easy transformation. We even have a celebration planned. There's a pack of werewolf hunters camped nearby. The Silver Hand. We're going to slaughter them. Lead on. Skior's already scouting ahead. That's certainly unusual.
Alright. Let's do this. So, yeah, for context of how big this feels, just remember how many quick loads it took to kill a single basic bandit before this.
Time to end.
Let's grab a quick snack. There we go. That's our preferred way of getting food at this point. Because hey, it's free. If it reduces us, I almost said levels this up. I suppose it levels up werewolf one. As I think I mentioned in part 0, but to reiterate, we will be progressing any kind of shapeshift perks in the field. So if you consider that's not found in a otherwise level 1 run, then from this point mentally substitute shapeshift only for level 1. Personally, I think it's still a level 1 run because we still haven't gained any XP. The character is still level 1, but I think it's an unusually academic, or rather an unusually technical distinction, given that I've tried to go with the spirit of the thing for the other restrictions on this one.
Look at this. Cowards must have locked the place down after Skior charged in. You can taste the fear.
So, let's discuss the price for after that. So, eating recovers health, always good. You can eat humans, and later, I think any living thing, also good. This guy I don't appear to be able to eat. I'm not going to waste time on that. Massively increased damage, increased health. I believe you get a moderate amount of armor, which is independent of your equipment. A no cooldown AoE fear effect. But more importantly, as you've got Purpose Fire, all of your power attacks stagger enemies. So even if you didn't have extra damage and extra armor, otherwise pretty much any fights as long as you have few enough enemies that you can consistently keep them stunned. On top of that, you get substantially increased movement speed, and sprinting consumes very little stamina, so you can sprint across a large This is also one of the reasons this character is a medal, because if I understand correctly, then the size of your werewolf form is gendered and dependent. And as a general rule in Elsewhere games, the faster they run. As well, the world is essentially smaller for you. That makes sense. I think we've already eaten all of these as we went, but let's double check. Duration isn't particularly important at this point. Yeah, this whole place is filled with humanoids, we're going to get a lot of duration. But we do want to get these perks. So we're going to start off going down this tree, so that we can get the ability to feed off other things, because then you level faster. Which seems like a pretty solid first priority. Can start by roaring. Did it in the first few fights, but I damage. So let's skip up. I guess you can argue at this point. I'll try not to do it unless it's a minor enough one, I'm likely to lose sleep over it for how much more satisfying it is not to. I don't think anyone's particularly keen on just watching that animation again and again and again as being the core of gameplay.
I cannot.
Only door. Oh. Guess we have let's go. Save sooner than later. Pretty sure one of these hasn't been eaten, but again, not going to lose too much sleep over that one. Sorry, Skill. Sure, delicious.
Bastards. Somehow, He was one of the strongest. Get out of here. You and I have work to do. The Silver Hand will tremble at our sight. The Silver Hand has been scouring the world for more pieces of Uzran. One group is hidden out in the Rift. Get it back, for the honor of us all.
The Rift. Okay, so we may well head down to Riften first. So, one thing that I'm sure spawns in at this point and has caught me out more than once is once you finish here and you make your way back out, there it is. Oh, come on, don't make a fool of me. There we are. One bandit. Finished your werewolf transformation, and you get your mind with the fact that these guys are actually reasonably difficult to transform. It's not just an area full of weak enemies. However, due to how incredibly weak we are when not a werewolf, let's not. Somewhere around here, I think there's a bed. Because this would probably be a good point to get some rest, because you can't access the map in werewolf form. Which, while entirely reasonable, at this point I'd quite like to map out, see where that objective takes us, map out where we're going next, probably move to that chest. Let's just end werewolf form first, and then we can go looking for beds. So this is my personal biggest, well, what I view as the biggest downside of werewolf form is that you have no way to leave it other than letting its duration expire, which is a little bit awkward. We can't poison our fists, so we need that. We can't actually use any of his gear. Let's go and check the boss. Because if anyone's going to have anything worth looting, it's going to be her. Bit of gold, that'll do. Right, quick backtrack looking for that. And also, I guess, any convenient food on the way out. Yep, that was indeed a door that we couldn't open because it needed a lockpick. Ooh, good attacks. That will let us start stealing the food from the inn in Whitewell, which is pretty convenient. I feel like there's beds in here somewhere, but I really couldn't tell you where. Is that locked? It's not. Let's actually see what we have on the map. Ooh, I think I know what this one is. So importantly, this is halfway between Riften and I don't know what this place is called. Iverstead? Riften and the first location for Marla's Book of Love quest. So I think it's going to be a good idea to head to Riften, pick up that quest, do this, head over to here and do the first leg of that quest, and then probably travel via guard back. We could go back the old-fashioned way, but again, we have a bounty that needs clearing. Not a bounty. We have XP that needs clearing. And that'll let us carry on with the Companions questline. I'll think on this between sessions, but I'm thinking that our current best plan is to finish up the Companions questline and get the Totems raiding quests. Because the Totem of the Pack, I believe it is, that lets you summon wolves, is pretty massively useful. Let's see, so... yes, that's why I wanted to bed. So, the biggest downside of lycanthropy, which we can fix, is that we no longer have our power, because it's a once-a-day ability. However, through the magic of the 24-hour wait, we can just get that back. That is obviously going to be more of a downside when we're not next to a bed, and it does mean that we're going to be wasting food every time we need to get our transformation back. So the next thing to do might actually be to fix that before we go and do that Companion's quest. if it's one that's a short run from here, then I'll typically just go and do that immediately at this point in the game, rather than going and doing other things first. But actually, finished speaking of sovereignty. Since it's a fair ways away and we need to travel anyway, it may well make more sense. It may well make more sense to go and get infinite transformations and then finish off this questline. That would have been an embarrassing death if I trod on the panel there. So I think the rest of the session is just going to be looting and making my way to the entrance. But that should be the plan for next time. So yes, I'll wrap this up now, I suppose. So thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I shall hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.